Do me a favor. Allow me a walk down memory lane this month. I seldom use this space for such a walk. There are so many important issues affecting all of us in officiating. I intend to use this column to share my thoughts about those with you. But for just this month, I wanted to kick back and relive one particular experience I had during my 23 years as an on-court basketball referee. It came at a time when I was winding down my active officiating life, mainly because I had started this magazine a few years earlier, and I could sense the need to focus my efforts on that more than fulfilling officiating assignments. Okay, there is a black and white enlargement photo in my collection that keeps popping into my mind. The photo shows Bob Staak, then basketball coach of Xavier University, left arm and fist in the air, squared up, closing in on my face, screaming at me. The photo is from a men's D1 game I worked back in 1983. Let's see, that would be 41 years ago. I do believe we officials can have long memories. Anyway, here is the story behind that photo. It was a rivalry game. Xavier was playing state rival Dayton. I had just ejected 2 kids for fighting, one being Xavier's star forward. I also had ejected a player from Dayton, but that is getting ahead of my story. Near the end of the first half, on a rebounding play, 2 forwards simultaneously elbowed each other in the mouth. They squared off, and I, working the end line, there was a crew of 2 in those days, immediately stepped forward and got between them. One player tried to punch the other player, and he responded in kind. Both swings missed. As I looked to my left, I noticed another pair of players had squared off, ready to fight. It was then the sellout crowd uttered a terrible groan. I remember thinking something was very bad was going to happen, and if I didn't get the situation calmed down, it would. Xavier's mascot, a musketeer wielding a real sword no less, was waving the darn thing in front of the Dayton crowd, and those folks were about to explode. Security got to the area just in the nick of time. As that developed, I was muscling between the 2 guards who were starting to swing at each other. No blows landed, and I kept moving back and forth between the 2 arguing groups. Within a minute or 2, the players were somewhat settled down, but many others were still agitated and milling around. The 2 forwards who had started the ruckus faded into the crowd. Without people yelling and screaming at each other, I now had a chance to gather my thoughts. It was at this point I realized I did not exactly remember the numbers of the 2 original culprits. I couldn't seem to locate the Dayton player, but then finally found him crouched down, sitting at the end of the team's bench. I then thought I remembered who was the Xavier violator, found him, and announced to Coach Staak that the offender was done. That is when Staak erupted and the photo was snapped. After a few more minutes, my partner and I were able to clear the floor, shoot some free throws, and finish the remaining 90 seconds of the first half. We then went to our dressing room for halftime. When we came back onto the floor, the guy doing the color commentary for the TV broadcast motioned me over. He said he had reviewed the tape, in quotes, of the precipitating incident and that I had gotten the correct 2 players ejected. I said to him, "Yeah, I had it the whole way. Never a doubt." Thank you.